He wanted my lake house. I didn't raise my voice. My son Marcus stood in my kitchen that Sunday morning, coffee growing cold in his hands, while his fiancée Brittany scrolled through her phone at my breakfast table. She hadn't looked up when I offered her cream, hadn't said thank you when I'd set down the homemade cinnamon rolls I'd woken at 5 to bake. "Dad, we need to talk about something important." Marcus wouldn't meet my eyes. I'd raised him alone after his mother died when he was 12. 23 years of just us two against the world. I knew every inflection in his voice, and this one made my chest tight. "I'm listening." Brittany finally looked up. "We've decided on Lake Tahoe for the wedding. The venue can accommodate 300 guests." She said it like she was reading a grocery list. "The rental is $65,000 for the weekend." I nodded slowly. "That's a beautiful area. Your mother and I honeymooned near there. We're not using a rental." Marcus set down his mug. The ceramic clicked against granite. "We want to have it at your lake house." The house. 3,200 square feet of memories built right into the timber. I'd designed every room with my late wife, Catherine. We'd spent 15 summers there before cancer took her. After she died, I'd kept it exactly as she'd left it. Her books still on the shelves, her wind chimes still hanging on the porch. The bedroom walls still painted the soft blue she'd chosen because it reminded her of morning sky. "The house sleeps 8, son. You just said 300 guests." Brittany's laugh was sharp. "Obviously we'd renovate. Tear down that dated interior. Expand the whole structure. Make it modern. My wedding planner says we could triple the square footage if we remove that ridiculous tree in the middle of the property. The willow. Catherine had planted it as a sapling the summer we bought the place. She'd sat under it every evening with her sketchbook. I'd scattered half her ashes beneath its roots. That tree stays." My voice came out quieter than intended. "Mr. Patterson, with all due respect, you barely use that property." 6 weeks a year, Marcus says. "It's selfish to let it sit empty when it could be put to better use." She finally set down her phone. Her nails were the color of dried blood. "Besides, after the wedding, Marcus and I will need somewhere to live while we house hunt. The renovated space would be perfect. You can stay in the old cabin on the north end of the property." The cabin was 400 square feet. No running water. Catherine and I had used it for storage. I looked at my son. "Marcus," he stared at the granite counter between us. "It makes sense, Dad. You're 72. That house is a lot to maintain. And Brittany's right about the space. We could make it work for everyone. Your mother's studio is in that house. Every painting she never finished. Dad, Mom's been gone for 15 years. His voice had an edge I'd never heard before. "At some point, you need to let go. Let go." As if grief had an expiration date. As if Catherine's memory was clutter to be donated. Brittany stood, smoothing her designer dress. "We need your decision by tonight. The wedding planner needs to know if we're moving forward. If you're going to be difficult about this, we'll have to make other arrangements." She paused at the doorway. "More expensive arrangements, which would mean we'd need to dip into the money Marcus has set aside for your future care. Your choice." She left. The sound of her heels faded down my hallway. Marcus stayed frozen, still not looking at me. I didn't know my son anymore. This man who'd use my age as leverage, who'd threatened to abandon his father to protect his fiancée's feelings. "Get out of my house, Marcus." His head snapped up. "Dad, you heard me. Get out." He left without another word. I stood in my kitchen, 72 years old, utterly alone, listening to his car pull away. I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I walked to my study and opened the safe hidden behind Catherine's portrait. Inside were documents I'd hoped to never need. A private investigator's report I'd commissioned 6 weeks earlier, when Marcus first mentioned Brittany wanted to discuss the lake house. I'm not a fool. When a 32-year-old woman with no job suddenly gets engaged to my software engineer son, I do my homework. When she starts asking questions about my assets, before she's asked questions about my favorite color, I pay attention. The report was thorough. Brittany Chen, born Brittany McAllister, in Reno. 2 previous engagements to wealthy men, both broken off after she'd secured substantial gifts. A lifestyle Instagram with 42,000 followers, all of whom believed she was a successful lifestyle consultant. In reality, she'd maxed out 7 credit cards and had 2 pending lawsuits from vendors she'd never paid. The wedding planner she mentioned didn't exist. The $65,000 venue? Already booked by another couple. This was a shakedown, and my son was too blinded by infatuation to see it. I made a phone call. Robert? It's Michael Patterson. I need you to execute Plan B. Robert Chen had been my attorney for 30 years. He'd helped Catherine and I structure our estate in a way that protected Marcus's inheritance while giving me complete control during my lifetime. He'd also, at my request 3 weeks ago, prepared certain documents. You're sure about this? Robert's voice was gentle. He'd been at Catherine's funeral. He knew what that house meant. I'm sure. I'll have everything ready by morning. Michael, I'm sorry it came to this. I wasn't sorry. I was tired. Tired of being treated like an inconvenient relic. Tired of watching my son become someone I didn't recognize. That evening, Marcus called. Dad, I'm sorry about this morning. Can we talk? Come to the house tomorrow, 10 a.m. Bring Brittany. The next morning arrived cold and clear. I'd been awake since 4, watching the sun rise over the mountains I'd called home for 40 years. This house, not the lake house, my primary residence, sat on 12 acres Catherine and I had bought in 1987. We'd raised Marcus here, built the garden together, hosted every holiday. The doorbell rang at exactly 10. Punctuality, at least. Hadn't abandoned my son. They stood on my porch looking like they'd dressed for battle. Brittany in a crisp white pantsuit. Marcus in the charcoal suit I'd bought him for college interviews. Come in. They followed me to the dining room, where Robert waited with his briefcase open. Documents spread across the cherrywood table. Catherine had refinished by hand. What's going on? Marcus's eyes darted between me and Robert. Sit down, both of you. They sat. Brittany's confident smile hadn't wavered, but I saw her eyes scanning the papers, trying to read upside down. Robert spoke first. I'm here in my capacity as Mr. Patterson's attorney and executor of the Patterson Family Trust. We're here to discuss the recent request regarding the Tahoe property. Finally, Brittany leaned forward. I've already contacted contractors. We can start demolition. The Tahoe property is not available for renovation. Robert's voice cut through her words like a blade. In fact, as of this morning, the property has been transferred to the Catherine Patterson Memorial Foundation. Silence. I watched my son's face cycle through confusion, realization, anger. You can't do that. That's my inheritance. Your inheritance remains intact, Marcus. The trust provides for you handsomely. But the Tahoe property was never part of that trust. It was held separately, in my name alone, specifically so I could dispose of it as I saw fit. I kept my voice level, calm. The foundation will maintain the house as a free retreat for widows and widowers dealing with grief. Catherine would have liked that. Brittany's mask finally cracked. This is because of yesterday? Because I suggested some renovations? You're being ridiculous. I turned to her for the first time, really looked at her. Miss McAllister, I know about the 2 previous engagements. I know about the credit card debt. I know there is no wedding planner and no venue booking. Her face went white. Marcus stared at her. What is he talking about? Mr. Patterson, I don't know what lies someone has told you. Robert slid a document across the table. The private investigator's report. 43 pages. Photographs included. Marcus picked it up with shaking hands. I watched him read. Watched the man I'd raised remember how to think clearly. It took him 11 minutes to finish. When he looked up, his eyes were wet. Brittany? She stood so fast her chair tipped backward. You had me investigated? What kind of sick? The kind who's been married twice before for financial gain? Robert's tone was ice. The kind who planned to stage a wedding at Mr. Patterson's expense. Then pressure Marcus into signing over power of attorney for his father's care while you liquidated assets? Yes. We have evidence of that too. Your phone conversations with your actual wedding planner, the one you hired to stage a fake event. We had a warrant. That wasn't entirely true. We'd had a wiretap on Marcus's phone, which was legal since I'd been paying for his phone plan and the contract was in my name. But she didn't need to know the details. She didn't patient plan. But in the tense life, she didn't need to know the details. She didn't need to know the details. Brittany grabbed her purse. Marcus, are you going to let them talk to me like this? My son sat very still, staring at the report. At the photos of Brittany having dinner with her ex-fiancé 2 weeks ago, at the bank statements showing deposits from him that matched the amounts of gifts Marcus had given her. Get out. His voice broke. Just get out. She left. Slammed my front door hard enough to rattle the windows. We listened to her car spray gravel as she peeled away. Marcus put his head in his hands. His shoulders shook. I wanted to comfort him. Wanted to tell him it would be okay. But he'd made his choice yesterday. And choices have consequences. Dad, He couldn't finish. Robert, could you give us a moment? My attorney gathered his papers. I'll wait in the car. Take your time. When we were alone, Marcus finally looked at me. His eyes were red-rimmed. Young, again. He looked like the boy who'd cried in my arms the night his mother died. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I didn't see. You wanted to see a future. That's not a crime. But son, you were willing to erase your mother's memory for that future. You were willing to threaten me, manipulate me, discard me. Do you understand why I can't just forget that? I know. And I'm sorry. Dad, please, I'll make this right. You'll do nothing. I stood, walked to the window. The garden Catherine had planted was overgrown. I'd let it go wild after she died. Couldn't bear to touch what she'd created. I've made some other decisions. The trust that would have given you $2 million when I die? That's gone to the foundation too. I heard his sharp intake of breath. You'll still receive the house, this house, and its contents. You'll receive a lump sum of $500,000. That's more than generous. But the rest, the stocks, the bonds, the lake property, my pension, all of it goes to the foundation, to help people who've lost what I lost, who need what I needed. Dad, please, I'm not done. I turned to face him. You're also removed as my power of attorney. Robert will handle my affairs if I become incapacitated. You're removed as executor. And quote, you'll have no say in my medical care, my end-of-life decisions. Nothing. Because yesterday, you showed me that you'd prioritize your own comfort over my dignity, and I will not die in a storage cabin while strangers live in Catherine's house. I would never have let that happen. I swear, I would have. You already let it happen, Marcus. You stood in my kitchen and told me to let your mother go. Like she was expired milk. He flinched like I'd struck him. I need you to leave now. Robert will send you the revised trust documents. You have 30 days to contest them. But I assure you, everything is ironclad. Can I still see you? I don't know. The honesty hurt. I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know if I raised you to be this person, or if I failed somewhere. But I know I need time. A lot of time. Marcus stood on shaking legs. He looked around the dining room like he was seeing it for the first time. The photos of Catherine on every wall. The art she'd made. The life we'd built. She'd be so disappointed in me. His voice was barely a whisper. Yes, she would. He walked to the door, then stopped. I love you, Dad. I know I have no right to say that now. But I do. I didn't respond. I stood at the window and watched him leave, just like I'd watched him leave yesterday. But this time felt final. Like a door closing on 23 years of being his whole world. Robert came back inside. You okay? No. But I will be. The foundation paperwork will be finalized by end of week. The Tahoe House will open as a retreat center by summer. We've already had 12 applications from grief counseling organizations wanting to use the space. He paused. Catherine would have loved this, Michael. I know. He left me alone in my house. I walked through rooms full of memories. Catherine's studio, where her unfinished paintings still waited. Marcus's childhood bedroom, exactly as he'd left it when he moved out. The master bedroom, where I'd held my wife as she died. I wasn't a vindictive man. I'd given Marcus more than most fathers would after such betrayal. But I was done being convenient. Done being disposable. Done watching my life's work be treated as assets to liquidate. The phone rang 3 times that afternoon. Marcus. I didn't answer. It rang twice more that evening. I let it go to voicemail. Dad, please pick up. I need to talk to you. I need you to know I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything. Please. I erased the message. Over the next 3 weeks, Marcus tried everything. He came to the house. I didn't open the door. He sent letters. I returned them unopened. He waited in my driveway one morning. I called the police and had him removed for trespassing. Robert called with updates on the foundation. The Tahoe House was being gently restored, preserving Catherine's studio, keeping the willow tree, maintaining the soul of the place while making it accessible for grief retreats. I received a call from Marcus's therapist. Mr. Patterson, your son has asked me to reach out. He's in intensive therapy, dealing with some codependency issues and patterns he developed after his mother's death. He understands he has no right to ask for your forgiveness, but he wanted you to know he's doing the work. That's good. I hope he finds peace. Is there any chance you two might reconcile? I honestly don't know. 6 months passed. Summer came. The Catherine Patterson Memorial Foundation officially opened. The first retreat was for fathers who'd lost children. I stood in the back during the opening ceremony, watching them gather under Catherine's willow tree. One man, younger than Marcus, broke down crying. 2 others held him. They didn't know each other before that moment. Catherine would have loved this. The thought didn't hurt as much as it used to. I received a letter that week, not from Marcus, from Brittany's second ex-fiancé, a man named David Kim. Mr. Patterson, I heard through mutual acquaintances what happened with your son. I wanted to thank you for saving him from what I went through. Brittany took me for $400,000 before I realized what was happening. She's a professional. Your son is lucky to have a father who was paying attention. I wish someone had warned me. I filed the letter away. Didn't feel lucky. Felt tired. The next morning, I drove to the lake house for the first time since the foundation took ownership. The new director, a widow named Sarah, gave me a tour. They'd kept everything I'd asked them to keep. Catherine's paintings now hung in the common areas. Her books filled the library. The willow tree had a bench beneath it with a plaque, in memory of Catherine Patterson, who understood that grief shared is grief diminished. We have a waiting list through next year, Sarah told me. People need this space. They need to know they're not alone in their pain. My wife knew that feeling. After our daughter was stillborn, before Marcus was born, she spent 2 years thinking she was the only person in the world who hurt that much. Then she met another grieving mother, and everything changed. She always said grief needed community. I'd never told Marcus about his sister, about the baby we'd lost. Maybe that was my failure as a father. Maybe I'd protected him from pain so thoroughly that he never learned how to sit with it. I sat under the willow tree until sunset, watched families of strangers comfort each other, watched pain transform into connection. My phone buzzed. Marcus. I'd kept his number. Hadn't blocked him, but I hadn't answered in 6 months. The text said, Dad, I don't expect you to respond, but I finished therapy. I'm seeing things clearly now. I understand what I did. I understand what I tried to take from you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just need you to know that I'm becoming someone Mom would be proud of again. I stared at the message for a long time. The sun disappeared behind the mountains. The willow's branches whispered in the wind. I typed, "Come to the lake house this Saturday, 2 p.m. Come to the lake house this Saturday, 2 p.m. Come to the lake house this Saturday. Come to the lake house. Come to the lake house this Saturday. Come to the lake house. 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 Come to the lake house." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. I'll be there. Saturday arrived cold and bright. I stood under the willow, watching the driveway. At exactly 2 p.m., Marcus's car appeared. He parked, sat in the driver's seat for 3 full minutes before getting out. He'd lost weight, looked older. Just stood there, 20 feet away, like he was afraid to come closer. "Thank you for seeing me." His voice was hoarse. "Walk with me." We walked the property in silence. I showed him what the foundation had done. The renovated guest rooms, the community kitchen, where grief groups cooked meals together, Catherine's studio, now used for art therapy sessions. "It's beautiful, Dad. It's exactly what she would have wanted." We ended up back under the willow. I sat on the bench. After a moment, Marcus sat beside me. Not touching, just close. "I'm sorry." His voice broke. "I'm so sorry for all of it. For choosing her over you. For trying to erase Mom. For being so blind and stupid and—" "Stop." I held up a hand. "I don't need the apology tour. I need to know. You understand why. What you did was unforgivable." He nodded, wiping his eyes. "You spent 15 years keeping Mom alive in that house. In your heart. And I told you to let go, like she was nothing. Like your grief was inconvenient. I weaponized your age. I threatened to abandon you. I became exactly the kind of son she would have been ashamed of." "Yes." We sat in silence. A group of widowers walked past, heading to the main house. One of them nodded at me. I nodded back. "I can't give you what you had, Marcus. I can't go back to being your whole world. I can't trust you the way I did. Maybe someday. But not today. Not this year. Maybe not ever. I know. But you're still my son. And your mother loved you more than anything in this world. So, I'm willing to try something small. Dinner once a month. Here, at the lake house. Neutral ground. We talk. We see if we can rebuild something. But if you ever make me choose between my dignity and your comfort again, we're done. Permanently. Do you understand?" "I understand." He was crying openly now. "Thank you. Thank you, Dad." "Don't thank me yet. I'm not an easy man to disappoint twice." We sat under Catherine's tree as the sun set. Father and son, trying to find our way back to each other through the ruins of trust. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't reconciliation. It was just a beginning. A small one. But Catherine had always said, the most important journeys start with a single step. I hoped she was right, because this was the hardest journey I'd ever taken, and I was walking it without her.